Hello, sir.
That would help.
Hello.
That would
Hello.
help. That helps a little bit when I do have the. Helps quite a lot. I'm doing a sharing.
Okay.
Everything all right?
Yeah. I'm alone with the kitty cats for 1 week.
Oh boy. Single for a week. Let
Yeah.
the party begin.
Oh my god. Wow. The party every bloody minute, you know. Okay.
Strokes. 757.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it always goes right down to the wire. No matter how much prep I do to try to not take this sharing down to the wire, it always goes down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, you
maybe
would
that's
think
good.
that.
I don't know.
I mean, you would think
think
that
that you could
Streamlabs
put a
could
piece of
handle it all,
paper.
you know?
You would think you could put a piece of paper in the machine.
And your friend on the other
My
end. and make
favorite
phone
Family Guy
calls.
skits. My
Okay,
absolute
another piece
favorite
of
Family
paper
Guy
on the
skits.
other.
Okay. Come on, Cheryl. Roll for me. There we go. actually be ready to go. Maybe I could do that right. Maybe I could actually type a little bit. It's not the keyboard. It's the fact that I can't type. Alright. Here we go. Play. Play. Play.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
And young enough to do.
well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view? Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair?
We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy and a change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Welcome, welcome, welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of Lehigh Valley, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, at least for now, a third rock on the North American continent, by the way, western hemisphere of the planet. On this planet Earth, the only one we have third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect tonight for the 3rd of June 2025. Great to have everybody here. Great to see everybody. Welcome to Donna and everyone who everyone who is watching and listening. I shouldn't say might be, huh? Doesn't sound very confident, does it? But very good to see everybody. Great to have you here on this 3rd of June. It's going to be summer here for the rest of the week. We really have quite a beautiful night tonight, despite the fact that we are receiving Canadian wildfire smoke here in the Lehigh Valley, and I assume George is as well. So we have smoke here in the valley. You could smell it a little bit. It wasn't a couple of years ago we got smoke from the Canadian wildfire so bad that it was people were driving with their headlamps on in the middle of the day. The sky was orange. It looked very post-apocalyptic. It was difficult to breathe outside. Everything smelled like smoke. Your clothes, your hair, just from being outside long enough. It has been nowhere near that bad. Nowhere near. But you can see, if I could turn the camera, which I can't, but the sky, even though the sun is still out, even though it's setting, the skies are actually kind of gray, and it's like a layer of gray, not clouds. It's just kind of like a consistent little layer of gray. That's the smoke. And look, we're all, I start the program each night with this, bit of a diatribe, I guess you'd say. My chair's stuck on the rug. I begin the show every night with the same little diatribe, the same little, kind of announcement about that we're all part of this planet Earth. It's the only one we have. We are little more than the third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system. There are as many stars in the Milky Way galaxy as there are grains of sand on Earth. There are as many galaxies in the universe as there are grains of sand on Earth. And anywhere from 60 to 75% of those stars have planets. We are by no means the only folks in the universe. Not by a long shot are we the only folks in the universe. In fact, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked if we were the only creatures in the Milky Way galaxy. I happen to think that that's a very slim possibility that we're the only ones. But this is the only planet that we have. We're not going to pick up and go to a different one. This is it. This is what we got. And if we can't finally learn to take care of it, if the richest among us cannot finally learn how to accept maybe just a couple shillings less so that the rest of us can breathe, drink the water, farm the land, then I don't know what happens to us. Isn't it a powerful and very sobering thought that a tiny, tiny handful, compared to all of humanity, that a very, very tiny, very, very tiny handful of people will determine whether the rest of us live or die because of their greed, their ignorance toward global climate change and the global climate catastrophe that we face, their ignoring of science because it's not profitable to listen to science, and that this very small handful of people are going to determine the outcome of our species and nearly every other species on the planet. Such power in the hands of such few. It seems terribly, terribly backward. It seems terribly upside down. It seems very, day in the middle of the night, night in the middle of the day. It's just backward and upside down, and mostly all for money. Not for sincere ideological differences, not for faith-based differences, but simply for greed. Randall, and a hello to Randall, by the way, mentions that the sky in the Philadelphia area is showing smoke pollution from the Canadian wildfires, as we are here in the Lehigh Valley, as George is facing in the Pocono Mountains. It's one planet. Now again, it's not nearly as bad as it was a few years ago. Not even close. But you can smell it, and you can see it, and it did affect the day. It probably could have been a couple degrees warmer without the smoke obfuscating the sun for part of the day. Now, the sun was out as well at times today, just brilliantly, just beautifully, super bright, very, very warm. Very warm. The sun, I mean. But then it would kind of disappear a little bit behind the smoke, and it would get a little bit cooler. So, science, huh? Who'da thunk? Who'da thunk science? George, who'da thunk science? Block the sun with smoke, it gets a little cooler. Sounds like nuclear winter, doesn't it? Sun comes out completely unobstructed, it gets super hot out.
Well, there is no sorry, there is no science in.
Well,
With it.
that's true. This
in
evil
next
science thing I discussed.
Few years.
Yeah, this evil science thing I talk about. How terrible. So it's going to get you and I in a camp together. Get you and I in the same concentration camp together. Put the radio guys who believe in science, put them over there. Get rid of those guys. Anyway, welcome to all of you. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, Hot101.net, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, and the TCP Media Group. We are live on our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information. I've actually been thinking about renaming the Facebook page, but I can't come up with a good name. Maybe I should just name it after the show. It might not be a terrible thing. And rename the YouTube channel. Might not be a terrible. Just name it after the show. Just name it The Kennedy Effect. Just name it after the show. Anyway, That Other Side of Information for now, unless I get itchy and I change the name of the group. We're still under 1,500 members. I would love to get to 1,500 members by the first day of summer. So again, to all of you out there watching and listening, if you have anybody that you think would benefit, and especially people that you don't, by becoming a member of the group, send them on over. Let's get them into the group. Let's get to 1,500 by the first day of summer. We are live on our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information, as well as the YouTube channel for Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Ghost Claw Productions Radio, of course, has about 12,300 subscribers, and you can be one of them. Go to Ghost Claw Productions Radio on YouTube and become a subscriber. You can also become a super subscriber for as little as 99 cents a show. I've seen it happen with Thomas. I would love to have one person just throw us a couple cents on the YouTube channel just so I can tell Thomas that I'm catching up to him. Which I'm not even anywhere close to doing. But it would be nice, at least for someone to do it. But you can subscribe to the Ghost Claw Productions radio channel and That Other Side of Information on YouTube for absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. You can be a super subscriber above and beyond that, but it is not 100% necessary. We would like you to be subscribers to both channels if you would be so kind as to do so. The audio of the program, of course, blasting around the globe via hot101.net. Our name is our web address. Listen on any type of device that can connect to the internet. You can also use our apps, the Apple App Store for Apple devices, Google Play Store for Android, and the TuneIn radio app for all other types of devices like Fires and Kindles and things like that. I think you can still listen to radio through those things. Does Kindle still exist? Doesn't it? Does Kindle still exist? But you can still stream. I think you can still stream through it and listen to podcasts and things through it. So
yeah. Also, something called Remarkable.
And Fires. What?
There's something called Remarkable, which is the computerized paper that you can write on.
Oh.
You could use that like a Kindle as well. Which is pretty cool.
More advice. Did you guys do the help desk tonight? It's Tuesday.
No, we did not do the help desk.
Are you off for summer?
No, Gilbert had something to do today.
Ah.
We'll do.
You're not taking off for the summer, are you?
Only
desk?
for Model Citizen.
Okay. I've been considering it for this show for the summer. I'm so tired. But I think I need to see how I'm going to feel once I'm off this medication. I might feel better once the medication's over. Hot101.net, again, of course, Apple App Store, Google Play Store, the TuneIn Radio app, and you can tell Alexa to play Hot101.net. GCPR.live, GCPR.live is the website for Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Go visit the website. It's actually a very attractive website. You can find out everything about the station, how to listen, where to listen. You can read about all of our shows and our show hosts. You can hear programming there for free. And I should have mentioned, of course, that Hot101.net is completely free to listen to. It's the best thing about it. It's completely free to listen to. Once you start listening, you're going to love a lot more about both radio stations. But know that you can listen to both for free. Completely for free. Following us on Hot101.net, the music returns. Following us on GCPR is nothing till T. Nathan, I think, George? Tuesday? Nothing until Nate at 11, I think I'm correct. And Thomas, of course, returns tomorrow morning with your broadcast, to your broadcast hump day, so to speak, with Y Wednesday, 8 a.m. on the Sound of Coffee. So T. Nathan from 11, Thomas tomorrow morning from 8. Very simple program tonight. If you read the header of the program, you'll see is there dissent in the ranks. Well, I have a couple stories to talk about that. One of the things that happens in dictatorships is you crush the opposition. Not just opposition parties, but you crush dissent. You crush opposing views. You crush opposing opinions. One of the other things that happens in a dictatorship is that the ruling party begins to turn on itself, because the only way to move ahead, when one party controls all of government, the only way that someone in that government moves ahead is to climb over someone of their own ruling party. And we're beginning to see that, and I have a couple of articles to illustrate that tonight. One I will get to right now from the Associated Press. Don't do that. Musk calls Trump's big tax break bill a disgusting abomination, testing his influence over Trump Republicans. Let me find that article. This is written by Jonathan Cooper and Chris Majirian. Dateline, Washington. Elon Musk blasted Trump's quote-unquote big beautiful bill. It's actually a big brutal bill, and in fact it's actually none of the above. It's a tax break for trillionaires and billionaires, and Musk is still on track, by the way, to be the planet's first trillionaires. It's a tax break for trillion-dollar companies and billionaire, mega billionaires. It's a tax cut for the top 0.1%. It's a tax increase for the bottom 60% of Americans, and a cut for the top. So he blasted the bill of tax breaks and spending cuts as a disgusting abomination on Tuesday, testing the limits of his political influence as he targeted the centerpiece of Republicans' legislative agenda. We really need to stop calling them Republicans. They are not Republicans. There's nothing Republican about what this party is and is doing. Remember when Republicans used to stand against communism and try to promote democracy around the world? And they were careful in their spending and careful about the way the nation progressed, tried to put power in the states and local governments. Remember them? That party doesn't exist anymore. One of the great disservices of this media, of this current media, and MSNBC included, by the way, and most left-wing radio, by the way, most progressive radio, is that we continue to call these people Republicans. They are nothing of the sort. They are Trumpers. They are Trump cultists. They are followers. They are supporters, which even sounds like a positive word. They are fascists. Call it what it is. Back to the article. The broadside, which Musk issued on his social media platform, formerly known as Twitter, came just days after the president gave him a celebratory Oval Office farewell that marked the end of his work for the administration, where he spearheaded a supposed Department of Government efficiency. The word supposed was not in the article. I kind of threw that one in there, just to be fair to the articles. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore, Musk posted on X. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those of you who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. So there was an article in the New York Times about the various amount of drugs that Mr. Musk partakes on a regular basis. Ketamine to sleep, Adderall to stay awake, This sounds like a drug-induced rage to me. Am I a doctor? I am not. Am I the doctor? I am not. No, George? You missed that one? That was funny. Come on. That was clever and funny and cheeky. I am not a doctor, and I am not the doctor. So just take that. Just boil that one there for a little bit. This sounds like a drug-induced rant to me. Because this big, brutal bill is not a spending bill. It does give more money to the military, pushes the annual military budget over $1 trillion. It sends more money to ICE and the Border Patrol. But beyond that, there's not a lot of new spending in it. What it is a tax cut bill. And it's a tax cut for the top 1%. The poorest Americans will see their taxes go up yearly by about $800. The middle 40% of us are going to see our taxes go up by about $200 a year. The upper 20 to 30% will see a tax break in the thousands. The top 1% will see a tax break in the hundreds of thousands. And then if you're the uber ridiculously, incredibly billionaire rich, like the Kochs and the Mercers and Jeffrey Yass and Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos, your tax cut is going to be hundreds of millions of dollars. Because when you're worth $400 billion, you could always use a few hundred extra million. That's what the bill really is. It shows that Musk doesn't know what it is, or that he was so drug-induced at the time he was posting from his phone that his drug-induced haze didn't let him realize what it was all about. I'm completely dried out again. I don't understand. I can't get enough water. The legislation, which passed the House and is currently under debate in the Senate, would curtail subsidies that benefit Tesla, Musk's electric auto maker. Tech billionaire followed his criticism with a threat aimed at Republicans. Quote, "In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people," he wrote. He isn't one of the American people, by the way. He's an apartheidist from South Africa. The fact that he would speak on behalf of the American people is hilarious on its face. I'm also looking at a picture of the Resolute desk, Trump's presidential desk, has a bust of Abraham Lincoln on it. That is ironic as well, although what's not ironic is that the bust is justified in such a position as that Lincoln is looking toward the floor with a rather stoic face of disgust. Maybe that is actually appropriate. It's a sharp shift for Musk, the world's richest person, who spent at least $250 million supporting Trump's campaign last year. He previously pledged to help defeat Republican lawmakers deemed insufficiently loyal to Trump, but now he's suggesting voting them out if they advance the president's legislative priorities. And here, again, the hypocrisy and the juxtaposition of these two make me think that that Musk was on a drug-induced haze. However, it's unclear how Musk will follow through on his criticism. He recently said he would spend a lot less on political campaigns, though he left the door open to political involvement. Quote, "If I see a reason." The tech titan's missives could cause headaches for Republicans' Capitol Hill, who face conflicting demands from Trump and their party's wealthiest benefactor. Again, Republicans do not exist. They are not a political party. They are the Trump cult movement. In fact, I wouldn't even say movement. They are the Trump cult.
Amanda Waldman calls them Trumplicans.
Well, I even think that's a bit of a...
It's kind of like, man,
a pleasantry almost.
Yeah,
fascism is fascism wherever you see it. Fascism. It is what it is. We need to call it what it is. Alex Conant A Republican strategist said, quote, "It's not helpful to have Musk criticizing legislation, but he doesn't expect lawmakers to side with Musk over Trump. Senate Republicans are not going to let the tax cuts expire. Conant said it just makes leadership's job that much harder to wrangle the holdouts. Trump can change the outcome in Republican primaries with his endorsement, but Musk doesn't wield that level of influence," Conant said. "No matter what Elon Musk or anybody else says, I don't want to diminish him because I don't think that's fair. It still is going to be second fiddle to President Trump," the Republican West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito was quoted as saying. Musk's business interests stand to take a hit if lawmakers approve Trump's bill, which would slash funding for electric vehicles and related technologies like battery technologies, install chargers, and so on. Musk is the chief executive of Tesla, the nation's largest electric vehicle manufacturer, and SpaceX, which has massive defense contracts. Last month, Musk said he was disappointed by the spending bill, a much milder criticism than the broadside he leveled today. The budget package would seek to extend tax cuts approved in 2017 during Trump's first term at the White House and add new ones he campaigned on. It also includes a massive buildup, $350 billion for the border and deportations and national security to defray some of the lost tax revenue to the government and limit piling onto the nation's $36 trillion debt load. Republicans want to reduce federal spending by imposing work requirements for some Americans who rely on government safety net services. They can't cut enough spending without sending this country into a depression to offset the tax cuts they want to pass. These tax cuts will add $8 trillion to the national debt. The Congressional Budget Office says that by the end of 2036, in 10 years, it will push the national debt to over $44 trillion. A staggering number that most people, I think, could really not wrap around their head. I certainly have trouble doing it. And I do this for a living. Do you see what's going on here? In fascist governments, when one party controls everything, and remember, Trump Republicans have control of both houses of Congress, the White House, and the Supreme Court. They control the entirety of the federal government. You move ahead by climbing over the bodies of those in front of you, even if they're in your own party. That's what we're seeing here. Musk trying to continue to keep himself relevant and important, and with his money he's always going to be relevant and important, but also climb over the backs of others to stay relevant and important. He's not criticizing Trump, he's criticizing the legislation, and he's criticizing Congress who passed it. I'm so sorry I keep drinking, but I am completely parched. I'm just completely parched. And I didn't have a terrible amount of salt for dinner, but I seem to be draining. So that's one part of dissension within a one-party ruling government. The other piece came earlier today, and of course, I'm going to have lost that article. I need to find the article I was going to read you. Where did my article go? Here we go. We're getting there. One of the things that fascist governments do is they crush the opposition. Not just opposition parties, but anybody else with a differing point of view. And we'll read a story about that in just a second. It's 8:30 p.m. You are listening to and watching TKE Tonight, The Kennedy Effect, tonight for the third of June 2025. We are live on the Facebook pages of Our Revolution Pennsylvania, Hot101.net, the TCP Media Group, and of course Ghost Claw Productions Radio. We are live on our home group Facebook page for all things that surround our program. You can read the articles that I'm reading with you tonight on our home group Facebook page. That other side of information. That other side of information. It's also the name of our YouTube channel, which we hope you will subscribe to. That other side of information. And we're live there right now. You can watch us on YouTube. You can also watch us on the YouTube channel of Ghost Claw Productions Radio, along with 12,300 other people who are doing exactly the same thing, watching us on YouTube, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. The audio of the program, the radio part of the program, blasting around the globe via hot101.net. Our name is our web address. If you can connect to the internet with any type of device, you can listen to us, and you can listen to us completely for free. Hot101.net, HOT101.net, hot101.net. Our name is our web address, and you can listen for free. You can also use our apps, Apple App Store for Apple devices, Google Play for Android, and the TuneIn radio app, and of course tell Alexa to play hot101.net. GCPR is our other radio station, GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio, .live, the radio station that I am humbled enough to be part owner of, along with Thomas the Villain Bishop. GCPR.live. Go to our website, learn everything you ever wanted to know about the radio station, learn how you can listen and support the various programming across our platforms. Where diversity matters, every voice matters at GCPR. Diversity, not an angry word, not a bad word, but a good word. GCPR.live. Diversity lives here. We believe in it, and we think you do too. And if you do, this is the place to be. GCPR.live. We have a fully functional Android app, so if you have an Android device, you can listen to us via the Android app, the GCPR Android app with the Apple app on the way. Following us on Hot101.net, the music returns. At GCPR.live, conversations with T. Nathan from 11. Thomas returns tomorrow morning for Why Wednesday. Fascist governments crush opposition. They crush opposing opinions. They crush anyone who dares stand up against them. Even people in their own circles. And that's where this article comes from right now. Headline: OAN's Pentagon reporter learns the limits of expressing her own opinion. This is written by David Bauder, and it was posted earlier this morning. Assigned to cover the Pentagon for the conservative outlet One American News, Gabrielle Cuccia, and I think I'm saying that right, I may not be, it could be Cuccia, C-U-C-C-I-A, but I think I'm saying it correct, Gabrielle Cuccia, and my apologies to Ms. Cuccia if I am mispronouncing it, that is not my intention. Assigned to cover the Pentagon for the conservative outlet One American News Network, Gabriella Cuccia didn't pretend to be an unbiased reporter. She describes herself as a MAGA girl who is unapologetically defiant in her support of President Trump. Yet days after publicly criticizing a Trump appointee, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Cuccia found herself out of a job. In taking to Substack last week to express personal opinions about a figure she covers, Cuccia did something that would be frowned upon in many legacy newsrooms. The message that she was sent, however, is most likely to resound in places where opinion is fine, but only a certain variety of opinion. Cuccia's lengthy Substack post, the Secretary of Defense IV, was posted 3 days after Hegseth issued new rules that banned reporters from accessing large areas of the Pentagon without being watched by his minders. What does that sound like? You can't walk the streets of North Korea without a government minder with you. Many places in China you can't go without government minders with you. You can't go anywhere in Russia without the KGB watching you. They may not be standing right next to you, but they're watching. Viktor Orban has done the same thing in Hungary. Erdogan has done the same thing in Turkey. Because let's face it, Turkey is a fascist dictatorship as well. Right, Marat? So that said, Defense Secretary Hegseth has now made it a rule that you can't travel around, you can't move your way around the Pentagon, one of the largest buildings on Earth, by the way, without minders watching you. Doesn't that sound fascist? It certainly doesn't sound small d democratic. It doesn't sound like the democratic nation we used to be before this last election. She criticized him for limiting freedom of movement in the name of national security. The Pentagon wants to paint a picture that journalists are freely roaming classified spaces, sneaking into secure areas, and leaking top-secret information, she wrote. And that is simply not true. There are security cameras everywhere, protocols in place, and quite frankly, it would be painfully obvious if a reporter was in a space they didn't belong. Kuchia said the real leaks from the Pentagon have come from Hegseth's own team and senior officials. Hegseth, a former Fox News personality, was embarrassed in March when the Atlantic magazine's editor-in-chief was mistakenly included in a signal chat in which the defense secretary discussed upcoming military strikes. She criticized Hegseth for not holding a media briefing at the Pentagon. The commander-in-chief welcomes hard questions, and yes, even the dumb ones, she wrote. Why won't the Secretary of Defense do the same? 3 days after her Memorial Day Substack post, Kuchia said her Pentagon Access badge was revoked. By Friday, she said, I was out of a job. The Defense Department did not pull Kuchia's credentials, according to a defense official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss personal issues. Kuchia said OAN told her the Substack piece had been put on their radar, but she wouldn't say by who. She wouldn't speak further about what her employer told her, and OAN President Charles Herring told the Associated Press that it does not discuss personnel issues. Quote, when a reporter asks inconvenient questions about government overreach, the response should be accountability, not silence, and certainly not separation, Kuchia said. Traditionally, the legacy media does not want its journalists expressing opinions about the people they cover, since it calls into doubt their ability to report without bias. But exceptions are often made in cases where media access is at issue, said Tom Rosenstiel, a journalism professor at the University of Maryland. The New York Times, for example, institutionally called upon Joe Biden to meet more often with journalists when he was president. The Pentagon Press Association said Hegseth's restrictions were a direct assault on freedom of the press. So here's a woman who, by her own description, is a Trump loyalist. But because she had the temerity to question Pete Hegseth and how he's running the Department of Defense, she lost her job at not just a right-wing network, but, I mean, so far right they damn near circled the globe, One America News. The only thing that might be crazier than One America News is Newsmax. And even that, I would say, is a neck-and-neck race coming down toward the end. Fox makes One America... I got that backward, actually. Let me try that again, George. I got that completely backward. One America makes Fox look like CNN. And we all know how bad Fox is, admitting in court that they lie for a living and paying nearly $800 million to make the case go away. In fact, we have an article about court cases that we'll try to get to here as well. But this is what happens in fascist governments. All dissent, even from those who were considered to be loyalists, all of it is crushed. There is no room for dissension. There is no room for disagreement in dictatorships. All hail dear leader. And anyone else who doesn't, is going to pay. Ms. Cuccia paid with her job. And when you're a self-described MAGA girl and you work at One America, there's really nowhere else to go. I don't know where she's going to get hired now. Am I going to lose sleep over it? Not a flipping wink. But she's out of a job now because she dared to dissent. Imagine what's coming for me. Imagine what's coming for George. Imagine what's coming for Thomas. Here's a MAGA loyalist who dared dissent and has lost her livelihood. Now, she hasn't been jailed yet. That's probably what's coming for the rest of us. But she has lost her livelihood. Headline: Republican push for proof of citizenship to vote proves a tough sell in the states. Christina A. Cassidy and Nadia Lathan are the authors of this Associated Press article posted this morning. Dateline: Austin, Texas. President Trump and congressional Republicans have made it a priority this year to require people to prove citizenship before they can register to vote. Turning that aspiration into reality has proved difficult. Trump's executive order directing a documentary proof of citizenship. Let me try that again. That was terrible. That was literally terrible. I'm trying to read too fast for no good reason whatsoever. Trump's executive order directing a documentary proof of citizenship requirement for federal elections has been blocked by a judge, while federal legislation to accomplish it doesn't appear to have the votes to pass in the Senate. At the same time, state-level efforts have found little success, even in places where Republicans control the legislature and governor's office. The most recent effort to falter is in Texas, where a Senate bill failed to gain full legislative approval before lawmakers adjourned on Monday. The Texas bill was one of the nation's most sweeping proof of citizenship proposals. It would have applied not only to new registrants, but also to the state's roughly 18.6 million registered voters. The bill's authors failed spectacularly to explain how this bill would be implemented and how it would be able to be implemented without inconveniencing a ton of voters, said Anthony Gutierrez, director of the voting rights group Common Cause Texas. What the Texas bill meant to do is basically start a brand new voter registration. All the people who were already registered to vote would have had those registrations wiped out. The entire Texas electorate would be forced to re-register. They were going to start from scratch. An effort I would have to think that even Republicans in Texas would not be in favor of, as obviously they can't get the support for it, and so it probably won't pass. But this is a form of voter suppression. You have to prove you're a citizen already when you register. You need to produce certain documents. We already do this. This is just an added... It's to scare people from registering to vote, is what it is. Especially poor and black and brown people. It's to scare them from ever thinking about registering to vote. It's not that difficult to think about what they're actually trying to accomplish. It's really quite simple. What I think might be the last article that we get to, I'm not sure, but it might be. Oh, I hope it's not. There's two more articles I'm going to try and get to. This one from the BBC, if it opens up, was posted 14 hours ago, written by Ali Abbas Hamadi. A federal trial has begun for MyPillow chief and Donald Trump supporter Mike Lindell, who was accused of defaming a former employee at an electronic voting company in the bitter aftermath of the 2020 election. Mr. Lindell is being sued by a former employee of Dominion Voting Systems, who claims Mr. Lindell falsely accused him of helping to steal the vote, which was won by Joe Biden. The man said his reputation was irreparably tarnished by Mr. Lindell. Dominion itself has also filed cases against several Trump allies who it claims baselessly alleged that the company's voting machines had been rigged during the vote. Trump himself asserted that there had been widespread voter fraud, a claim that was labeled baseless by a select committee report into an attack on the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021 by Trump's supporters. Proceedings in Mr. Lindell's case began in Denver, Colorado on Monday with jury selection. Outside the court, he said, "We're in a battle of biblical proportions of evil and good." He is expected to take the stand to defend himself during the jury trial. Judge Nina Wong, a Biden appointee, will preside. The man who brought the case, Eric Coomer, is a Colorado resident who handled security for Dominion Voting Systems. He filed lawsuits in 2022 against Mr. Lindell and two of his companies, MyPillow Incorporated and Lindell TV, for an undisclosed amount. When I ask you all to share the program, to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff, and we struggle at times to keep the program going, keep the lights on and all that, to know that there's a Lindell TV, I can only imagine what is on Lindell TV. And to be
It's like
quite
putting the pillow over your face while you're sleeping. That's what Lindell TV is.
Is it like putting the pillow over your face, or is it wanting to put the pillow over your face?
No, it was probably putting the pillow over your face.
Probably wanting to put it over your
watching
face.
Lindell TV.
And wanting to swallow the pillow and make you and just to make it stop. Just stop. Just make it stop. What do I have to do to make it stop? Put the pillow over your face. It's a my pillow. It's your pillow. It's everybody's pillow.
I wonder what the commercials are on Lindell TV.
Oh my God. We fight here to do a really substantive, completely truthful, honest, human program for you all here, and then to know that there's a Lindell TV is just really something. I don't know. Bettina, it's so good to see you. Very, very, very good to see you in the chat on Facebook. Says, let the Trumpers eat themselves. I'm good with that. They will certainly become fat and happy. Or at least fat. There's a lot of them. And a lot of the ones that, let's not go there. Let's not do that. Why, George, why am I doing these things? Why am I trying to go down that road when I really shouldn't do it? Donna says, I have never heard of Lindell TV, and hopefully I'll never see it. I don't even know where you find it. Is it a Roku channel? Is it a YouTube channel?
If you had looked at the White House press briefing, Lindell TV was actually represented by 3 of its reporters, or actually 1 reporter. And
that's pretty frightening stuff.
Yeah, it is frightening stuff. So there's Lindell TV.
So where is it? Where do you find it? Do you have any idea? Is it a Roku channel or a YouTube channel?
I can look it up. I don't know why
I'm curious. I'm just curious where you would find it. Donna, I'm with you. I hope I never have to see it, but it is a little strange that no one seems to know where it is. The man's running a television network that no one can find. I find that a little crazy. LindellTV.com. Or it's just a website?
Wait.
It could just be a website.
It's a Roku channel.
Okay. I have Roku. I'm not gonna go looking for it, but I mean,
Go looking for it. You might with it. You might, it might
Never
be
know what
like
you might
Love
find.
Island. It might
never
be
know what
kinda
you
like
might
that.
find. Careful what you wish for. Back to the article, folks. A court filing says after more than 15 years as a respected professional at the top of his field, Dr. Comer's reputation has been irreparably tarnished, unquote. He, quote, now endures frequent credible death threats and the burden of being made the face of an imagined criminal conspiracy of unprecedented scope in American history, says the court filing. In 2021, several major U.S. shops stopped carrying Mr. Lindell's products as he began endorsing election conspiracy theories. Trump himself has falsely claimed the 2020 election was rigged by mass voter fraud. Dominion sued Fox News for $1.6 billion, accusing the network of spreading lies about the election. Fox settled out of court for $787.5 million. Let us remember, too, during that court settlement, they were forced to testify in front of a grand jury during the discovery phase, where Fox admitted that it is not a news network, it is an entertainment network. It also admitted that it lies. One of the great quotes that came out of those transcripts was one of the executives saying that if people depend on us solely for their news, then they should look elsewhere. And if they believe the lies that are being peddled by Fox, he blames the viewers for that. That's what came out of that court case. Fox admitted that it lies for a living, and that it is not news, but in fact entertainment. Well, it's entertainment in the way that Slaughterhouse Video is entertaining to me. But go ahead, George. You unmuted, so you're going to say something. I do keep an eye to see when you mute and unmute. I mean,
if you get your news from Lindell TV, then it's time to put the pillow over your head.
Right, then you put it over your head.
Deep breath.
Why do you need a MyPillow to watch Lindell TV? Because it'll put you to sleep, or you'll kill yourself one way or another. You're not going to make it through a broadcast, I think is what the takeaway is here, that we're not going to get through it. We can't get through it. There is one more article that I want to try to get to before the end of the hour. And it is actually a bit of a hopeful story in a very strange way. Where are we at? 8:53. Yeah, I should read this right now. This is also from the BBC. Let me get to a couple of the comments really quick. Bettina says, I found an article regarding protests for June 14th. Yes, that's No King's Day. If you just Google No King's Day, June 14th, which is Flag Day, because conservatives do not own the flag. Trump does not own the flag. Republicans do not own the flag. Oligarchs, billionaires, fascists do not own the flag. It's our flag too. We are Americans. We live here. We happen to love and want to restore democracy. Republicans do not own my faith. They do not own God. They do not own the military. And they do not own the flag. It's not a Friday, I'm sorry. June 14th, which is Flag Day, traditionally, is also No King's Day. Google No King's Day. You will find a protest near you. They will be nationwide. In fact, I have a very good feeling they'll be worldwide. I would say the easiest thing you could do is Google No King's Day, or find your local Indivisible chapter, and you will be able to find out how you can take part. Mike Jackson says, if you hold a MyPillow up to your ear, can you hear the show? There's probably a MyPillow with a speaker built into it. I wouldn't be surprised. Donna says, a local discount store is selling MyPillows for $5. I would buy one if it was a dime. I actually own a couple of them. I originally bought them before I knew how nutsy Lindell was. And he actually hadn't gone nuts at that point. I knew he was a, very proselytizing, in-your-face sort of Christian, evangelical, but I just needed to sleep, and I was trying to find anything I could possibly find to sleep. And I bought a couple of his pillows. They didn't last like they were supposed to. That's true. That's for sure. I also remembered a pillow to scream into or fighting it while I was watching Lindell TV, says Ito Numo on YouTube. A quote from YouTube. Thank God. Somebody's actually contributing to the chat on YouTube. Thank you, Ito. And I hope I'm saying Ito correctly. I can't imagine it's Edo. It's probably Ito. Randall says he's ready for no King's Day protests here in Delaware County with his Indivisible group. Last article I want to get to, I'll kind of have to rush through this a little bit, but I do want to get to it. This is also from the BBC. Headline, Tulsa plans $105 million in reparations for America's hidden massacre. This was actually from a day ago, but I happened to find it today. And the article is written by Brandon Drennan. Neat last name, Drenon. Brandon Drennan. The city of Tulsa, Oklahoma is preparing to award its black community a $105 million reparations package to address the harms caused by the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921, one of the largest and most violent racial attacks in all of U.S. history. The plan by Monroe Nichols, Tulsa's first black mayor, focuses on community redevelopment and does not involve direct payments to descendants or the two remaining survivors of the attack. Nichols made the announcement on Sunday during Tulsa's first ever official Tulsa Race Massacre Observance Day. The funds raised by a private trust include $24 million for a housing fund, $60 million for a cultural preservation fund focused on reducing blight. The Tulsa Race Massacre has been a stain on our city's history, hidden from the history books, Nichols said. That tragedy, he said, was compounded by economic harms that followed, namely the building of a highway to choke off economic vitality, perpetual underinvestment, and intentional acts of redlining where black people were denied homes and property loans. Now it's time to take the next steps to restore. The plan is called Road to Repair, and its funds will be managed by the Greenwood Trust. It seeks to have $105 million in assets either secured or committed by, well, it would have been the 1st of June, which was Sunday. Some of which would also go into a legacy fund for the trust to acquire and develop land. Nichols said the proposal would not require city council approval. The council would, however, authorize the transfer of any city property to the trust, which he said was very likely. The Greenwood Trust borrows its name from Tulsa's Greenwood District, a once prosperous black neighborhood with an economy so thriving that it was dubbed Black Wall Street. All that changed in May 1921 when a white mob burned it to the ground, destroying more than 1,000 homes and structures in less than 24 hours. An estimated 300 black residents were killed and many more injured. The event robbed Tulsa of an economic future that would have rivaled anywhere else in the world, Nichols said in a phone interview. 8:59. Randall says he read the article on the race massacre. Yeah, it is one of the hidden parts of American history. It should be hidden no more. I hope that we've stimulated a little thought for you into the topic, but it is one of the hidden blights of American history. An entire culture inside of a city destroyed simply because of the difference of the color of the skin. And really nothing more than that. I guess you could say jealousy and things like that, but at the end of the day, if Black Wall Street was White Wall Street in Tulsa, it wouldn't have been touched. Gosh, I think if it was even Cuban Wall Street, it probably wouldn't have been touched. Anyway, we've come to the end of the program for a Tuesday, June 3rd. For everyone at hot101.net, that's DJ Lex, DJ Earl, and the entire... Those are the big bosses. That's why I always name those two. They're the big bosses, DJ Lex and DJ Earl. And the entire hot101.net family, we thank you so much for being with us again here on TKE Tonight, The Kennedy Effect Tonight. For you, we will return on Thursday from 8 p.m. For you, the music returns right now. We'll see you Thursday from 8 p.m. For those of you at gcpr.live, you got a little bit of a break. Walk the dog, get some ice cream, watch the baseball, whatever it is that you like to do for a little while. T. Nathan from 11 p.m. T. Nathan from 11 p.m. Thomas, tomorrow morning with Why Wednesday on the Sound of Coffee from 8 a.m. We return to you Thursday from 8 p.m. Until then, please take care of yourselves. The auto DJ kicks in. T. Nathan from 11. Take care, GCPR. And for those of you on our video streaming platforms, easy for me to say, thank you for being with us yet again. To every Facebook group that has allowed us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe, thanks so much for allowing us to be part of it. We couldn't do it without you. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. Facebook, That Other Side of Information. YouTube, That Other Side of Information. And the Ghost Claw Productions Radio YouTube channel as well. Like, subscribe, share, follow, all of it. We need your support. We will see you again Thursday evening. For George and Lynn, for Kristen, Daisy the dog, and of course April Riddick, I'm Jeff Kennedy. Please take care. We've done about all the damage we can do for one night, and it's been some damage. Let's just be honest. It's been some damage to the English language tonight because I have stumbled over it and choked over it most of the evening. We've definitely done our damage. But until then, we've done about all the damage we can do. We'll see you Thursday from 8 p.m. Until then, I beg you, please take care of yourself.